think the only difference between that VCU and now is the hours we put in between, bro. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that's what makes you professional for real. I make yourself so valuable to the point that when you gone, it seemed a little off or a little weird because 100%. I always start with a saying that I learned recently is the seeds you plant today grow tomorrow. I know a lot of people want that. Hey, I planted the seed, bro. I need to have an apple tree today. I'm holding it down. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? And what I also learned is if your apple tree do come up overnight, it won't last long. A guy by the name of Gazi, which we have signed Young Dolph and XXX, a few others, a lot of big artists, and he's the CEO of a record label by the name of Empire. And after that was done, he was like, "Yo, hey, who are you?"
Good day, good people, and welcome to another episode of From Good to Pro podcast, where we talk about the journey from good to pro. And I'm your host, Louis Goodley II, and we have a special guest with us today. And we're going to have a real deep dive conversation on his journey from good to pro. I'm calling this episode From BCU to BET. That's that was what I came up with as far as the title. So, hey, no other than YS Baby goes by a lot of different nicknames, but YS Baby is who he is now. So, hey, tell us a little bit about your journey, man. About from your BCU journey to Grammys to because you have world accolades now, man. You've been crushing it.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I've been doing my best to, like Mary say, enter the learn, depart, serve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got to.
But BCU, that's Young Scholar right there. Well, man, right now in my life, I've evolved to the YS Baby. I guess that's the pro version of me. But I think the only difference between that BCU and now is the hours we put in between, bro. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes you professional for real. I think it has a saying that says like until you do this many hours or something. I don't know if
The
it's like
10,000 hours.
10,000 hours. So I got that. I think
Yeah.
I got 10,000 hours because the last time I checked, I got Bethune-Cookman in '06. Man, it's 2026, so it's a beautiful thing, man.
20 years is crazy.
The year is crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about that time to circle back, but my journey started at Bethune-Cookman University. I'm from Sarasota, Florida, which is right outside of Tampa Bay, which is the vibes right there. It's crazy. I went from the Tampa Bay area to now I'm in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and it's like you're from the Bay. I'm like I'm in a different part of the Bay, Florida part of the Bay. But other than that, man, I'm not even gonna sit here and cap with you. I didn't expect it to be this way, but start off in Mass Comm with you, with Joe LaBarber, Mr. Walker, Mr. Caputo, you know what I mean? But they started a Wildcat Wednesday. I literally was the first person to help kick off Wildcat Wednesday at Bethune-Cookman University. And D Strong used to come and he would DJ Wildcat Wednesday. And at that time, D Strong, he was I can't tell my story without mentioning him because at that time he was like Sierra's official DJ, 106 in Park, 102 Jams. I was
Wow.
like, he had a big chain. I was like, man, I'm in college broke. I'm like, man, one of these days, man, he doing everything I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
told him, I was like, one of these, what we were doing Wildcat Wednesday, and I walked up to him one of these days, and I told him, I said, hey, man, look, you need me to wash the car, hold the kid, wash the car, watch the baby, get some candy, run to the stove, whatever you need me to do, man. I'm trying to learn, man. I'm trying to, just kind of follow you around, I didn't know at that time, what would transpire of it, but I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot because I actually talked to Mr. Walker. Mr. Walker told me about how he was from D-Land. D-Land and Deltona was strong, had history back that way, and I was like, what? And it was crazy. So he was like, man, tell him I sent you. So I went on, and I went and talked. I said, Mr. Walker sent me too. And he was like,
Yeah.
what? He was like, okay, you know what? And then over time, we began to build a better rapport in relationship. Because the first time I met him in the club, I tried to get his phone number. He was like, I don't give out my phone number like that. And I was like, dang. I was like, I don't know if this is a rejection moment or like,
Yeah. And I think that speaks to just the mentality of going from good to pro is like understanding what those moments are, and like pursuing those moments too. Like you don't know what's going to turn out, how it's going to turn out. Like, but if you don't ask for the number, you can't have it. Your story, like you said.
Bro, I'm telling you, and I even to the point where I'm not now. I used to want to get everybody Instagram, just to get that follow. Like, oh look, you know what I mean? This person follow me, but it's like
Hmm.
when you need to contact Lewis, you need to hit Lewis on. You need to have his phone number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The phone number open up more doors than a follow on Instagram.
Mm. That makes
So
sense.
that might be that's a gem I'll give out there right there, right now. But either way, it built on to he let me come to work with him and intern with him. Even though he didn't give me his phone number, he let me shadow him, come to work with him one day,
Yeah.
and it was really cool because the first day I shadowed him and worked with him, I met J Cole.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
That's
that
what's
was,
up.
and Cole probably don't know this, but that was the deciding factor of am I going to do news or radio? I was like, if I'm gonna show
Mm.
up to work and meet J Cole, I mean,
Yeah.
what we talking about?
that, that
I'm
decision's
going
already
to
been made for you.
I'm
Yeah.
going with the radio option because it was like either I think it was like the news or because ESPN and the news it was cool, it was media, but it wasn't still what I loved like that. It was
Hmm.
what I loved, but it didn't have that music element of it, and that's why I was
Yeah.
like, bro, if I'm gonna meet J Cole, yeah, bro, this is it. So I met J Cole my first day interning with D Strong. And we did it and we never looked back. And from me, kind of moving with him and being around, he kept me around him even more. And I ended up interning at 102 Jams, which was an amazing situation while doing radio at 99.1.
Hmm.
And I just made myself so valuable while I was there that it was like, man, where YS at? What's calling that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I try to tell people all the time the best thing I did was take an internship out of college because nobody really want to hire somebody else. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And if you
Yeah.
can show them that, I ain't gonna lie to you, the whole time he was here, he was good. I like him. His mama cooked some good mac and cheese. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we
That's
called him, we needed him. He
yeah.
came. You know
Uh
what I'm
huh.
saying? And one of the things a person in the building told me, he was like, man, just make yourself so valuable to the point that when you gone, it seemed a little off or a little weird because
Mm.
like whenever he was here, if I needed something, I had it on my desk. You know what I'm saying? Whenever he was here, it was positive vibes in the hallway, or this and this and that. So I
Yeah.
try to always make it feel like when I'm not around, it feel a little like something's off. Like, cause I'm always able to do whatever. If you needed me to go pick up the kid, I know this ain't got nothing to do with the radio part of things, but I go.
Yeah. 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 No, I
You
think
know?
that makes sense. Like adding value, making sure that you're valuable is
Yeah,
everything.
because I knew I ain't had nothing to offer him.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
couldn't give him no money. I couldn't give him no job. I could like how do I add value to something I can't and I don't have I was like my value is my time and my
Mm.
effort.
Yeah.
Like my value was giving him I think I realized my value was me giving him things that saved him time. So instead of him having to look up news, the celebrity news, and talk about Nicki Minaj on the radio, hey bro, I already got look. Nicki Minaj did this last night. She got kicked out of Red Lobster. Boo boo. Lil Wayne just got arrested. Like I already
Hmm.
had this stuff like so I did stuff that helped save him time, which
Yeah.
kind of helped out in the value department.
Now, did that kind of help you develop kind of who you were as far as your podcast and like how getting yourself out there, like that whole season of your life? Like, how did that work?
I had no idea that was what God was shaping. At
Mm.
that time, I thought I was just doing whatever it took to get involved and get in the mix and one day become something. But I didn't know that like this is shaping you to one day. This same guy that you doing this and provide value for is
Mm-hmm.
going to hire you once he starts the radio station in Orlando. You're gonna
Mm.
end up being in his wedding, not just having his phone number. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? As a groomsman, you know
That's
what I'm saying?
big.
And then you're gonna go number one on that radio station that he has, and it's gonna
Hmm.
platform you to BET. Not, and it all started from I bring some candy to the DJ, but whatever I got to do, watch the car.
Yeah.
So I didn't know at that time that it
Hmm.
would evolve to that. I just know that I just wanted to show myself that I was valuable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, and like what, like, because again, we want to help people go from good to pro. Like, talk about like why that's valuable. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you didn't know that at the time, but I think a lot of people now, when they're trying to get into a job or whatever, they're like, "Hey, you gotta pay me. Pay me my worth." Like all that kind of stuff. But it's a process. Like, you're not gonna come out the gate making crazy money, you know. But if the opportunity is there, you need to take advantage of the opportunity. So talk about like why that's important to really take advantage of the opportunity that's presented, especially if you want that career.
100%. I would start with a saying that I learned recently is the seeds you plant today grow tomorrow. I
Mm,
know a lot of people want that. Hey, I planted the seed, bro. I need to have an apple tree today. I'm hungry
yeah,
now. Like, hey. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? And what I also learned is if your apple tree do come up overnight, it won't last long. You know what I
that's
mean?
good.
Because then is what is it rooted in? Anything that's anything fast don't last. Anything slow for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So you can tell I done sat around a lot of old people. Like they got all these little sayings, but I
yeah,
love to sit around because you can pick up on the gems. You be like, oh, I like that.
yeah.
But
You don't get it till you older and go through it for real. So
nothing makes sense. It's all cliche until you get older. Majority of it is. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm extremely grateful for um, learning that, like taking that time, because it didn't happen when I wanted it to. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Uh, and that because it didn't happen in the way I wanted it to, it lasted longer.
that's good. I think. Do you think that that was because you weren't like expecting a specific result at the time? Like you just said, like you plant the seed today, it's not gonna grow today. So you were like you weren't anticipating that to grow right now. Like is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah. I wanted it to grow that day. You know what I mean? I wanted it to
Gotcha.
be that, but
Yeah.
I couldn't maintain that apple tree if it grew today.
Mm.
And I think a lot of times people want these things, want these blessings, but they can't maintain them if it came. Like if you signed that $1 million record deal today, could you maintain it? If you got that dream job today, could you maintain that dream job? If the NFL called and said we're starting you tomorrow, would you be able to maintain it? And I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, it's one thing to get it, and it's another to maintain it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
100%.
I'm saying? So I think when you want to maintain something, you need to earn. It needs to be earned, and it needs to be over time, and you need to learn the necessary steps. You know what I mean? Because you get
Yeah.
$1 million, you get $200 million today. How do you maintain it?
Yeah.
Or because just as much as something could be a blessing, it could be a curse. It could set you up for worse too.
No,
You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Especially if
So
you again don't know how to maintain it or manage it. Yeah, like a blessing can become a burden real quick.
you know what I'm saying? You could mess around,
Yeah.
get your 200 million, and say, you know what? I'm buying a Lambo today, but you ain't get your driver's license. You don't even know how to maintain bills. Matter of fact, you don't even know how to drive the Lambo. You get in there, you do the gas, and then now you in a car accident. It's like, man,
Mm.
that and you paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? It's like things can happen in ways where it's like, yo, maybe I wasn't ready for all of this money and responsibility right now. Maybe I needed to go through what it was like to drive a '95 Saturn, which was my first car. You know what I'm saying? And experience the flat tires on I-4 and how to change the tires, the oil changes,
Mm-hmm.
how to maintain, how to realize, like, man, if I can't replace the alternator in the Saturn, I don't need no Ferrari right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And just really
That's good.
start being realistic about everything and just appreciation. Because and then what that Saturn does is build appreciation for when you get the Ferrari. It's like I ain't gonna drive it like this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? You
100%.
value it different. You know what I'm saying? I think it was Jay-Z that said, like, people know the price of everything but the value of nothing.
Mm. That's good.
So you gotta sometimes, like, you know what I'm saying, like, understand the price of it is of the price tag, but the value of it, like what it means and what it can really do and how to maintain, like, that's a whole no a mature thinking of it. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No,
And
100%.
appreciation. So
That's real good, man. Because like you said, if you get something that you're not ready for, then you gonna realize how not ready you are. Real quick.
real quick.
You gonna real quick realize. So like going into throughout your journey, going from good to pro. I know like there's not really like a blueprint. Like okay, do this, do this, do this. Like what was like the mental, like the I guess your mindset as you were going from good to pro, like getting maybe like running around and getting coffee or getting rejected from certain areas or spaces. Like how did you stay locked in mentally?
Bro, I struggled. I
Mm.
struggled. I ain't even gonna sit. I think. I was watching 2819, the pastor dude out in Atlanta today, and he made a good point. He was just saying like you telling people that painting this picture of perfection is not helping nobody. It's not being real. It's, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You're not even helping yourself. It's like by people knowing that you was homeless at one point, your lights is off and this is that, and now you Tyler Perry, that makes it a testimony. And now people standing up and they clapping like, man, you went through that. I can go through that. I can come up out of it too. But to make
Yeah.
it seem like, oh yeah, but during that time, I just everything worked out the way I wanted it to. Man,
Hmm.
please,
Yeah.
first of all, we was at a college, we was at a HBCU, Daytona Beach, Florida. We was all trying to figure it out. We was calling our mama. She was
Yeah.
$20 here and there, but uh, that don't always happen. But I would say mentally I struggled a lot. Financially I struggled a lot. I think, but I think each thing taught me. You know what I'm saying? From eviction notices to lights off to relationships to having a kid, you know what I mean, to friendships that just that like dropped off over a period of time, to loyalty that was being tested because of hardships financially, like all of that stuff happened. Um, so I had to mature, and even just realizing like it's harder taking that route, because it's so easy to say, you know what, I'm gonna try to do some. You could do something and say like, "Oh, I'm gonna do something that may be illegal or jeopardize your character to try to make some bread." Those thoughts
Mhm.
come across your head because
Yeah. That's real.
you be really on, yeah, I mean, you be really broke. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And rent really do on the first. So,
Every
and
time.
then you really
Every
have a
month.
baby. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my son when I was in college.
Hmm.
So it was really like I looked at it as like I had 9 months to get rich. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I tell people all the time, you never really know how fast you can run into that dog chasing you. Like,
Mm.
dog, but you
Yeah.
see, you just jumped over that gate. You like, what gate? I just knew I wasn't getting bit. You know what I'm saying?
He said, "What?" Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
how having a kid in college did for me. It just kind of motivated me in that aspect. So it was hard. I prayed a lot. You know what I mean? I had some good people in my corner throughout that whole process. And but it was to say the least, it was hard, bro.
Hmm.
But I think between the people, the family, um, my wife that was there, my wife at the time now, to like good friends, to and then just God. I think God is important.
Yeah.
You
No.
can't
hundred
leave him
percent.
out, bro. Otherwise, the second you do, you'll regret it.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Hundred
I
percent.
told somebody the other day, I was like, I'm like, I gotta give God the credit because I've been messed this up for myself a long time ago.
That's real. That's so real, bro. So real.
I gotta give this credit to God because, to be completely honest with you, bro, I literally went out of my way to mess this up for me.
Mm.
Doing
What you
stuff I
mean?
know I ain't have no business doing, going
Mm-hmm.
places I know I had no places going, no, you know what I mean? Or just,
Mm-hmm.
but I think, what I'm saying, at the end of the day, like, if you put him in the center of it, and I always grew up in the church too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always knew to like keep God in it. But for me, it was just understanding that as long as I keep putting in the work, it's a matter of time. If I
Yeah.
stop, then it's not happening at all.
No. 100%. 100%. Um. So I know you talking about just like you being in radio and you're in podcasting and all those things like that. Uh. Why do you think audio storytelling deserves more like recognition? Because you switched from video to radio, and you're heavy in podcasting. If you want to talk about your podcast, definitely for sure. But why do you think radio and audio and storytelling is important?
I think radio. I think podcasting is the evolution. I think radio is still radio, just like newspaper is still newspaper. But I think people are consuming what they see on. They're not always picking up that newspaper and consuming. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Now they're able to follow New York Times on Instagram and find out what's going on versus
one
picking
hundred
up.
percent. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The convenience of things has changed from back in the day to 2026. I think for me, radio has always been the pulse. You know what I mean? I've worked it over. 5 different radio stations, man. Orlando, Florida, where I went number one there. Birmingham, number one there. Even dabbled in Atlanta. And before I saw my Dylan came out west and started doing podcasting full time. I
Mm-hmm.
think podcasting and what's hood, what I've created, it was crazy because it was the catchphrase for
Mm-hmm.
all the years I was on the radio. I don't know, one day I just kind of got on the radio and I was in Birmingham, Alabama at 95.7 Jams. And I was like, what's hood, man? You know, and I just kept with that catchphrase.
Yeah.
What's hood is Wise Baby from 95.7 Jams, the hands number one for hip hop and R&B. How you feeling? You know, I just kept, but then it's funny how God works because I think he was prepping me for what would be mine. I was kind of manifesting and speaking on what would be coming to pass for me in the next chapter of my life. And now
Mm-hmm.
my podcast is called What's Hood. And, we've been working and interviewing and growing up and sitting with some of your favorites from Kirk Franklin's to, you know what I mean? Let's see, from Kirk Franklin's to Boss Man D-Lo's, and
Mm-hmm.
just building everywhere in between on a national scale. So I'm super grateful for that. But the main thing I focus on throughout my podcast is people learning, people getting wisdom from these guys. Because I really wanted to learn how y'all got rich.
Yeah.
Help me figure out how to take care of these kids, pay these bills, and live in a mansion like y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
100%. Yeah.
that's the key, right? So and with all of them, I sit and I learn bits and pieces on how to reach those heights and
Mm-hmm.
learning that all of them struggle. It's crazy because the most gangster of them, they could be the most gangster person of them all, but they all resort back to God. And
No,
I'm just like,
100%.
okay, but you you just got out of prison, but then I woke up.
Yeah.
I be like, I'm not like bashing it. It's funny though. It's just
Yeah, yeah,
ironic.
yeah. It's just not something you put like two and two. You don't automatically correlate those two things.
Yeah, because I'm like, you a whole gangster, a real gangster.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I tell people all the time, but the first time, you could be as gangster as you wanted to. As soon as you get shot, it's gonna be one name you call out. You know what
Nah,
I mean?
100%, 100%. Yeah, man. Nah, God definitely deserves all the glory, man. Because we wouldn't be doing anything without Him for sure. For sure.
You know
I
what I mean?
mean, when growing up, like, cause my dad's a pastor, so growing up in that type of household, like, I didn't just
You
go to
know,
church. My dad was a pastor. You know what I'm saying? So, whenever he's talking, praying and saying, God protect us from the seen and unseen, like when you really sit and think about that unseen stuff that you have no idea that that missed you, is crazy when you just think about it. So, yeah.
especially the prayers that kept you, them people that was praying for you late at night, you had no idea. It's like, why this
Hmm.
worked out for me? You thinking it worked out on accident? It's like, no, grandma was up last night on her knees, boy. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
hundred
So I
percent.
still, kind of understand that, and that's why a lot of times when certain doors open for me, I'll be like, somebody, it wasn't me. But it does take time to perfect your craft too. I think um, it has been a lot of hours. That 10,000 hours we spoke about. That's now 20,000 or 30,000 hours, and taking chances. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I tell people all the time, if I wouldn't have never went to BET, I wouldn't have or took that flight or took that trip, I wouldn't have got this far. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times people be like, "What if I start this podcast and it failed and I look stupid? What if you start this podcast and it worked and it's the best decision of your life and you
No,
become
hundred
filthy rich?"
percent. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
A lot of people be scared because the negative result. But what if it does work out?
what if it worked? What if it
What if it
worked?
works out way beyond than you can even imagine or even think? Like, what if?
That's the what if I choose to believe.
Hmm.
What if that child you didn't want to have becomes the reason that saves your entire family and gets everybody where they want to go in life? Like, what if
Hmm.
he
Yeah. What if
becomes
it
the
works
next
out for the
Obama,
good?
Oprah,
Yeah.
whoever? I think Rick Ross had a line that was like, "Whoever thought that fat girl would grow into Oprah?" You know what I'm saying? And it's just
Hmm.
like you never know what's to become of things. So you know what I mean? If somebody gonna say, "What if it go wrong?" I'm gonna always be the optimistic person, and be like, "What if it go right?"
Hmm. Yeah. What if it goes right and blows everything up? And changes your whole life.
Whole trajectory. I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I remember there
Like,
was times when people telling me because my first time I was invited to come out to the BET Awards, I didn't. I didn't have all the resources. You know what I mean?
hmm
I didn't have the money. I had to stay on Jeff. Shout out to Nappy Bread. Jeff Smallwood. I had to sleep on his couch. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? And he had his dog on the couch with me. But I mean, the dog was like, "Man, this is my house, so you know what you want to do." I'm looking, "What you want to do?" I'm trying to sleep. But I was committed to the sacrifice. I was like, "I don't care if I got to sleep on the couch with the dog."
mm,
You know what I'm saying? I'm so grateful for my friend that allowed me to be there in that time. And mom's or dad that sit there, you still believe in me? I need $50 for a plane ticket to LA. Trying to chase some dream out here. You know
hmm
what I mean? And I went out there and I did my thing. And shout out to T Roy in Jacksonville. He told me, "Hey, if you get out here, we can make it happen." And fortunately, I kept going and being out there. I know there was a person throughout that journey that told me like, "Don't go out there looking like a group and try to figure it out." I'm like, "Look, I ain't going out looking at a group. I'm going out there chasing my dream and figuring it out." You
no,
know what I mean?
100%.
And I went out there and I put my talent in front of multiple people. I started interviewing Young Dolph. I got a chance to interview Dolph. Rest in peace, to Young Dolph. I tell people he changed my life all the time. But I got a chance to interview him, and that same day, um, I interviewed him. He was just kind of like, it was really weird because the BET Awards, you get to see how the bosses move.
hmm
And I tell people it was like a scene out of a movie. You know what I mean? Like when you see like, look at all them, it's 8 black trucks,
hmm
it's 10 security guards, everybody, everybody in all black with big diamonds, same matching PRE,
hmm
all black chains. And then when
Yeah.
they come in, the whole room just paying attention, like that's Young Dolph over there. Like
hmm
it's like who is that? Who is that? But either way, I got a chance to interview Dolph. I remember um, the moment where it had came where I got a chance to interview Young Dolph, and I played a game with him called "How Hood Are You?"
Yeah.
Um, and when I call it now, I use it now still to this day. But it was like asking what his first, and he was you asked the sentence, you fill in the last word. Like my first car was a, and then he was like, I don't know if he said like a Nissan or a Honda or something, but what it was it was a game, right? Well, one thing
Yeah.
my mom always told me was this. One show I grew up watching was this,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
was those. It took the celebrity and it made it human, made him human. It made him remember my first car, which like you drive a Lambo now, but your first car wasn't a Lambo. You know what I'm
Not no
saying?
question.
You might not live in a mansion by yourself, but you grew up with your mama, and she probably should say, "Close that door, boy." So
100%. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, or like you might be watching yourself on BET Awards, but you probably grew up watching Reading Rainbow, The
hmm
Simpsons, or something. So what it did, those questions, kind of humanized the celebrity in a sense.
100%. Yeah. No, that
You
makes
know what I
total
mean?
sense.
So the responses that I got from him were just funny, fun, and as I started to interview him, a crowd of people like grew around me,
Mm.
like an audience. And I was just like, and he was laughing, we were laughing, and throughout that audience, after it was done, was this guy by the name of Ghazi,
hmm
which we had signed Young Dolph, and XXX, a few others, a lot of big artists, and he's the CEO of a record label by the name of Empire.
Okay.
Um, and after that was done, he was like, "Yo, hey, who are you?" Dolph hasn't been like that with nobody all day. You know what I'm saying? Um, I want to work with you. I want to build with you. And from that, you know what I mean? It took some time. That seed did that apple tree didn't grow that day, but the seed was
hmm
planted. For I'd say probably about 4 to 5 years after that initial reaction,
hmm
I'm here in San Francisco, and
Nice.
I got my deal as a podcaster, and working very hard and growing, and it's just been an extreme blessing.
That's awesome, man. The whole concept, go from good to pro. The goal is to really give some real good advice to people up and coming. Just people in your industry and creative entrepreneurs. Like how do you go from content creator to professional content creator? Because you were doing content in college. Making music and doing all kind of stuff like that. So how do you go from just content creator to a professional content creator? and now you're, all over the place, traveling, interviewing whoever you want to interview. Like what's the not like practical steps? Like, okay, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. But like, what are some like mindset things that you got to go through, or some things that you feel like you had experienced that really took you from good to pro, like instantly? Well, it kind of feels like overnight. I know the journey's long, but it feels like overnight once you get there.
Yeah, nah. The number one thing is consistency.
Okay.
That's what takes you from okay at math to wow, bro. You're amazing at math
Mm-hmm.
because you do it every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's no different from basketball player to anybody who does hair. Like the difference between somebody who's like I've done it before versus like I do this is I wake up every day and I do this.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up every day consistently and do this. I think that's one of the main things. Doing it consistently is what takes you to that pro level.
Mm-hmm.
Content creating was crazy. I was content creating before I knew I was content creating.
Yeah.
It just, I think like the name just kind of changed because like podcasts to me are like what vlogs in a sense were used to be.
Mm.
Or like kind of like what, when people would just be like, yo, this is something, something TV. Like
Gotcha.
that's right now would probably be a podcast. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Labeled
No,
in
for
that
sure.
category. And what's crazy about it is that interview I did with Young Dolph. At the time, I thought I was being extremely unprofessional because I did it and I used my cell phone for audio and I was using this back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And now when you look at what's going viral online, content creator wise, they using a cell phone
Yeah,
talking
100%.
and going
Yeah.
back and forth. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh wow. You know what I mean? So, I think what really is the thing is repetition. And then once you're consistent with it, you start making money off of it. And I
Mm.
think that's what takes you to the pro level. Being
Okay.
consistent, and then you're making money off of it. At
Mm-hmm.
that point, you're a pro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and that's what I kind of think. Kind of took me to the next level is being consistent. But I went from consistent every day on the radio
Yeah.
to transitioning from a radio show to a podcast. And at first, I talked to a friend and I was like, "Man, I don't know, man. That's two different lanes or whatever." He was like, "No, honestly, YS, that's actually your gift. Structure your podcast the way you structure your radio show." You know what
Mm.
I mean?
Yeah.
Understand how to talk, and you know how to talk to people. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because a lot of times we kind of see this disconnect happening a lot. The difference between a journalist and a content creator, and it's hard to say because there's great content creators too. But you, having a conversation with me, you could tell like you did your research. You know about me. You took the time to be ask questions that are kind of well, what a person would say, like you know about me. You learned some stuff about me before we had this conversation.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm just gonna ask them something dumb to go viral, or just something that's off the top of
Yeah.
my head. I didn't do no research.
Uh-huh.
And that's the difference between like the journalist you see on the red carpet versus
Mm-hmm.
the content viral creator or whatever you see on the red carpet. And I
100%.
think that's what I mean. That makes sense.
No, that makes
That
total sense.
and
And then,
I think it goes back to right. Us doing this in college, we had to do. You had to do homework, and you had to cite your work, and you had to be
mm-hmm.
there every day, and you had to really do your research. So it was like even now with you kind of take that approach with everything in life.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
really just double down on the basics that you learn, that foundation.
you see what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
how I conduct this interview, you're gonna feel like, yeah, I gotta fill this out. I gotta ask these questions. I got this. I've learned this. I've learned that. It's structured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I've built my life based off of the structure, so I apply that to the daily life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of like the difference that I've been seeing, and would help me make the transition, and from you know radio personality to podcast to content creator.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Nah, you're definitely crushing it, man. It's funny. Every time I go to the BT, every time I watch BT Awards the last couple of years, you've been in the camera somehow. I was like, hey, that's Scholar right there. I'm like, this man at the BT Awards. I think I was at the BT Experience a couple years ago, and I saw you doing something. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
It was
that
a
sounds
minute
about right.
ago. It was a
Yeah.
minute ago. We just ran into each other. But yeah, because I was moving out to LA, I think at that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yo,
nah.
I think it's important, man. I try to make sure I'm out there all the time, and
Mhm.
I encourage people all the time, bro. Like it's almost like classic weekend. You may not go to the game, but just be there, be
Mhm.
around the stadium, be involved with the events.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? BT has always been that for me, and it's opened a lot of new doors in my career.
Mhm.
Being around and being at that event, throughout the weekend and the week of festivities. So, I encourage people all the time, like buy the ticket, go.
Mhm.
At least be able to say I did it.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, and what is it? What does it feel like to go? Like, what is the just being a part of Black excellence? Because I've been to Africa Awards and seeing all the celebrities and it's really all the Black critics, Black actors, actresses. I was just like enamored. But what does that like? What does that do to you being at the BET Awards and seeing all the Black excellence and going back to this consistency thing?
Bro, I think my first BET Awards, my eyes were open and it was just like, oh, so there's 8 black Escalade trucks. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's organized wearing the same color and that's, with this crew, or they got big cameras, or, this is a real production. Like they're organized. It made
Yeah.
me come back to Florida, and I got on my radio show, and even when I went and I saw how the other radio personalities was moving, like they got the big bag drops, they got merch, they got T-shirts, they got this, they got all. I came back here saying, look, if we want to play for the pros, we got to step our game up. Them
Mm.
boys was going hard out there, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like for me, it was BT is going to the BT Awards was always an eye-opening experience on how to take my game to the next level.
That's good. That's good.
You know what I mean? Because it was like you said, it's that black excellence. It's like, ooh, I thought I
Hmm.
was killing it with my Cadillac. No, bro, they got, you know what I'm saying, Rolls Royces. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the understanding, and then you see it, and then to see it being black, that means it's possible, black man,
Mm-hmm.
black. You know what I'm saying? And
100%. Yeah.
so that whole, I tell people all the time that fabrication that people put out there that, well, that's just TV. You ain't gonna be that. That's that's cap. I almost saying something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, you 100% can be that. Putting in
Mm-hmm.
putting in the hours, being consistent. Talent, and of course you sprinkle God on top of that. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, you'll be that faster than you think you can, and then
Mm-hmm.
you'll be telling a testimony that sounds cliche to somebody else, like keep going, it's possible. But the
Yeah,
truth is,
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
It really is, because I can't watch how many times I've got up there and I see people make those speeches. I think it hit me when I was at the Grammys. When I seen people like, what's the first thing they gonna do? That they gonna get up there and they gonna say, "I'm so great." They gonna cry. They gonna say, "Thank God."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But truth be told, and they gonna say something cliche, but the truth of the matter is,
Mm-hmm.
once you get to that point, Lewis, you look crazy not to acknowledge the fact that you know it wasn't you that got you here.
100%. Yeah.
Cause you done broke down, cried, wanted to
Mm-hmm.
give up a million times. You
Mm-hmm.
done stuff that you probably should have. It should have derailed the whole situation. So first
Mm-hmm.
thing I do, unless you're gonna get up there and just forget, and God just be looking at you like, man, let them know who did it for real.
Yeah,
So
all
you,
right.
it-
For
so first,
sure, bro.
all right, let me go to cliche. I gotta thank God. You better
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
God.
yeah. He better think 100%. Now, when
You
they
know,
get up there and don't, I'm like, all right.
I know, because at first to me it was like, man, all right, come on, say something else. But no, first of all, go ahead, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Say who you got to say, and
Yeah.
then it goes down the list. But it's really eye opening to see. It's motivational to see, to know it's possible. It's
Mm-hmm.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Um, and you can look like, even you just going and checking out how they do this podcast, or how this cameraman move, or what lens he's
Mm-hmm.
shooting with, and building that relationship and rapport. And now you know the dude that shoot Good Morning America, and you just met the dude
Yeah.
that do the Breakfast Club and this and that. Now you
Mm-hmm.
develop a networking database, and you can bounce ideas and hit your boy like, "Hey man, I'm coming to you." Like it creates a whole new, like, one of the things I learned is to get something you never got, you got to do something you never did before.
Hmm.
So all these people that you've never met or never been or never been established with, so now you start connecting with them, and now you start putting yourself in new positions and new places, and new
Yeah.
places equal new opportunities, which makes new money. So that's how I look
Hmm.
at it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's big.
uh,
No, that's good. That's real good.
yeah, man. So that's what BT showed me, taught me over the years, and like I'm gonna continue to go because it's just been all of those things for me, and it's continued to platform me, and it
Hmm.
continued to show me it's so possible.
Man, that's what's up, bro. Nah, 100%. Yeah, consistency. Just really, if you lock in and stay consistent, you really can get whatever you want. Like it's all possible.
Bro,
It
that six
really is
pack
all
you
possible.
want, just do the sit ups. Don't learn the sit ups.
Yeah, you got to
Do
be go.
sit ups every day.
You got to be
Do
willing to put in the work and
put in
get
the
the
work.
reps
Eat the
in.
right food. It'll happen.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I think we get caught up because it's not gonna happen the way we want it to happen. Like again, you're not gonna get the six pack and keep eating milk and cookies. Like maybe cut out the milk and cookies. Maybe
Come
start
on.
there. Maybe that's part of the process is cutting out the milk and cookies.
I think, and that's another thing, bro. Like, it's easier said than done, bro. Because I look at a pack
Yeah.
of Oreos right now, I'm like, boy, I know I want them, boy.
Uh
You
huh.
know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing, discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I not enough is said as that too, like, bro, like doing it when you don't want to, bro.
Yeah.
When it don't feel good, when it
Mm-hmm.
hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't got the money, but you do it anyway because you know it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
100%.
saying? That- That's that right there. The person that does the right thing when they don't want to do it, oh man, they gonna go far.
100%. Yeah, we just did an episode this week. Talked about discipline with Ryan Harris. So y'all go check that episode out.
Man, I love that
But
boy right there, man.
but he was talking about discipline, and because he's a personal trainer, and that discipline, when it comes to showing up to the gym, when you don't feel like it, when you're sore still, like I wake up early in the morning and I gotta constantly mentally fight, like, nah, you still tired, like, no, but we gotta go to the gym, but we
Right.
tired, but we gotta go to the gym. We gotta see this is the only time to go to the gym, but this is the only time to sleep in. It's like it's constant. You gonna fight. That's gonna be the hardest fight you gonna have. But as soon as you get there and start getting them reps in, it's like, all right, I needed to be here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Get the reps in, stay consistent, and then you'll definitely get the results you want to get. Hundred
Fact.
percent.
It's almost like having that job and you wanna get that check at the end of the week.
Nah, it look right.
Remember you took those extra breaks. So that's right. With tax, you only made $25. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get a lot of results on this one. Now, if you're
Yeah,
consistent next week,
yeah,
it'll look
yeah.
a little different.
100%. We'll reconvene next week and see what you did. Reevaluate for sure. But yeah, man. Hey, I think now you dropped some really good gems, bro. Because I think the goal is really to help people go from good to pro for sure. Even me, like I think when you're a professional, you still got to constantly be learning. Like, whether that's change your mindset about certain things, and when you get to a certain level, you got to show up differently, or put in maybe a little bit extra work, or you know cut some stuff out. Like just as you become and continue to grow, you'll know how to shape your whatever it is that you're in, whatever field you're in. So
It really is. You can't never stop learning. Cause when you got $100, you think you the man, but then it's somebody with 500. Then it's somebody with
hmm
person with 500 looking at the person with 1,000, like, bruh. The person
hmm
with 1,000, like, I got 1,000. So then that person with 1,000 ain't nothing to the dude that got $100,000. And then on
hmm
top of that, it's a dude that got $1 million. And then that dude ain't nobody to the billion. So it's just kind of like, why stop learning, bro? You haven't hit the
yeah,
height that you want to. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
hmm
uh, there's always a lesson to learn, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and as you enter each room, it's like, I'm happy I'm at the BET Awards, but he got 10 of them. He got 10 BET Awards. I'm trying to be get one. You know what I mean? So the
yeah,
bar always changes. And I guess, your definition of success or whenever you feel like you hit that point, I don't know. But I don't think I'll hit a point where I'm like, oh, I'm done learning. I got everything I want. I don't want
yeah,
to
yeah.
learn nothing else. Nah, the more you open to learn, the more your life will just keep changing. I think as people we'll learn to the day we die. On our dying bed, we'll learn something new. Like, man, you know what I mean? Like, I want to
100%.
continue to learn.
100%. No, that's great, man. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, man. We can wrap up there. But this has been another episode of From Good to Pro, and I want to thank you, man, for showing up and giving us some really good gems, man. For sure, I think this is going to help and impact a lot of people. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and share this with somebody else who may need to hear this conversation. And we'll see you on the next episode. But from then, keep going pro.